Hello YouTube, this is Kopitar back at it again, looking at Ciaconna and her kit. This is pre-release, right? But it is in-game, so it's not leaks, it is purely in-game, right? She is an Aero Resonator, and obviously she's Pistol, right? She buffs the entire team, and does a ton of very, general stuff, as you'd expect from an Aero Resonator. Providing air erosion bonus damage, and being able to do a bit of damage on her own with her heavy attack and her ultimate, but let's keep it real, she is not going to really be able to do that large amount of damage. She can, however, act as like a quote-unquote sustain or time stall. If you really don't remember or don't have the ability to dodge and everything, you can use the alt to stall and make sure you don't die. Or you're running out of stamina, alt, stall, right? I'll explain that more later, but let's first go straight in to the basic attacks, right? So perform 4 basic attacks to inflict air erosion, and as listed here, after basic attack 4, it's solo concert, which in turn gives a 24% arrow damage bonus. There can only be 2 solo concerts on the field at once, right? Or like 2 ensemble sifts which can become solo concerts. So it doesn't really technically say only 2, but I'm assuming there can only be 2, and that's why it says this effect is not stackable, which is sad. But like, let's be honest, 48 arrow damage to all nearby resonators would be a bit too strong, I think, and it would kind of flip the game a bit too much. Especially with all her other buffs and capabilities as well. Let's look at the fact that at basic attack 4, you get that 1 stack of air erosion, so that's very important to understand. You really want to get to that basic attack 4, which also creates a stack to get to the solo concerts, right? With the solo concert and arrow damage bonus, there are a few things we need to look at, right? So the ensemble sylph is generated after, obviously, the basic attack 4 is interrupted, and it'll continue the solo concert if the ensemble sylphs will continue the solo concert, right? If the solo concert itself is interrupted. But other than that, the ensemble sylphs will finish without entering solo concert in her current attack pattern, right? The mid-air, heavy attack, aimed attack, all pretty normal, right? One thing is interesting, she's the first 5-star resonator, right? That is pistols that can use a aimed attack, right? Because Carlota, you cannot aim, even though that would be really cool to do with her rifles. Sadly, that is not a thing. I do wish it was a thing, but of course, wishes are not real. And of course, this is just general multipliers, not really strong, but she's not a DPS, so it makes sense, right? You shouldn't expect anything out of that. Really, the big thing to take away from this is basic attack 4 gives you the soul concert, which gives 24 arrow damage bonus, and it gives you 1 stack of arrow erosion, right? Alright, let's look at the resonance skill, right? The resonance skill, just, again, you press E, gets arrow erosion stack, and you get to start from basic attack number 2, which means you can go from 2 to 4 right away, much faster, technically, or I can assume. Of course, more testing will be done once she is out on live, and once I can actually play her. Obviously, I don't play her enough, or don't have her. Her basic attack, being interrupted, again, as stated before, the soul concert and ensemble self is generated, right? The good thing is, when she's in the air, she can cast it, which means if you're swapping from, like, a unit into her, for example, you're swapping from Aero Rover, who flies a bit, straight to Ciaconna, you can automatically skill, and it'll proc right away for you, so it's very nice. Pretty good, to be honest. Her Forte Circuit is one of the most important parts, to be honest, right? It groups the units together so that you can have an easier time with killing them, and of course, it inflicts yet another stack of arrow erosion. So with the 3 segments of Musical Essence, right, it gives you the full ability to do the heavy attack quadruple downbeat, right? To proc this, you can do... Oh, it says right here. Interesting. Anyways, well, you can do 4 basic attack 4 and intro skill, which also means that doing the basic attack 4 yet again can help with air erosion stacks. And we can do the numbers later, but I think there's like a certain amount you can get per rotation according to energy regen, according to these 2 inherent skills, which we'll look at after the resonance separation intro skill and outro skill. We can look at these 2, right? Right. But it's pretty simple. Just basic attack 3 times, or intro basic, or basic attack 4 3 times, right? And that'll give you the stuff you need for the Forte. It's only 3, so it's really not that hard, to be honest, because if you're doing the intro skill, that's 1, and then you do 8 basic attacks, or 1 resonance skill, and then 6 basic attacks, or 7 basic attacks, I don't really remember. It's like that. But one thing to notice is, let's just move on, we're going to skip resonance separation real quick, just to connect back to the Forte circuit part. Intro skill does start at basic attack stage 3, which means you can intro skill, creating 1 segment, and then basic attack once to get the 2nd segment, and then skill, and then get to the basic as well, and that's like very, very fast. I think that is the fastest generation of all 3 segments, and it goes really fast. Really easy, really fast, and the regen is 25 concerto, right? So that's actually pretty good. Let's look at the resonance separation. Pretty simple, to be honest. There's a bunch of words for no reason, let's be honest, because it's just, you hop into the alt, there's 2 QTs, there's a yellow one, which is a spectral one, and the green or bluish one, or turquoise, which is the arrow damage one, right, or the arrow erosion. Both of them inflict negative statuses. You cannot click both, you have to pick one. You can either stay on field for a certain amount of time, And yes, she's immune to the interruptions and takes less damage, sure. But let's be honest, I think you'd rather do more damage. So I'd say you probably want to swap in and then switch automatically to whichever one. So if it's a Aero, you can just automatically swap out. You don't have to wait. But if it's not Aero and you're trying to go straight to Spectro, wait for a second, press the Spectro, which is going to be yellow, and it'll automatically go straight into the Spectro Frazzle. Okay? As said here, a green Symphonic Tonic is generated by default. So just as I said, you do not have to wait for the green. It'll automatically generate the second you're in, right? It's pretty easy, to be honest, right? Now, let's look at these inherent skills after we just make sure to understand that these ensemble selves now directly grant the air damage. So you can have the ensemble self and not really care about Soul Concert anymore. And it's chill. Very easy, very fun time. One thing to notice is the poem skill damage. This is a pretty big multiplier. But, you know, it's pretty standard. It makes sense because it's an ultimate. So it makes sense. But let's go back to the inherent skill here. This is important. Grants a shield equal to 100% for 4 seconds. So she's just not going to die for 4 seconds, which allows you to go and proc the Spectro Frazzle one if you need it, right? It's basically a quality of life, just don't die type thing. This is important. Increase heavy attack quadruple down by 30%, which is a pretty good bonus considering that the skill is... This is equal to, let's see, 315-ish percent attack, right? So think about it. 350 percent attack on the heavy is 6 away, just about, from Phoebe, because Phoebe does a heavy attack of 321% on her special, right? So it's pretty good. Obviously, Phoebe's a DPS, so she can do the heavy attack more, but it's not like it's a bad damage, especially with the 30% extra damage, right? So honestly, Ciaconna can do a small amount of damage, and of course, this is all at level 1, so I don't have level 10, and we have to wait till in-game, but once I have level 10, you know, I can expect some pretty good numbers, you know? I don't think it'll be too bad. So damage percent capabilities from Ciaconna is not too bad. Outro skill is just air erosion damage dealt to targets near the active is amplified by 100%. So if it's 100 damage per tick, well, now it's like 1,000 or something. I don't know. I really don't know how air erosion works because I don't think we really had a unit that does that. To be honest, like if I look at it again, I'm pretty sure that like it just doesn't make sense because let's say the unit does 100 damage per, you know, air erosion. Does that mean you're doing 10,000 damage per tick if it's 100% amplification of air erosion? So 1,000 damage per air erosion tick is going to become, what? Like, insane. It's going to be insane, right? Or like 100 even, times 1,000 is just, it's too much damage. So I'm very curious and not really understand what's going to happen there. I don't have the air erosion multiplier, so we'll see what it is. Before we go into constellations or resonance chains, let's just make sure we understand here. The best way, in my opinion, will be, of course, you may not have intro skill if you're starting with her on field. So you start with her on field. You're going to really want to do E first. Then you're going to get the basic attack stage. Number 2. Then you're going to do 2 or 3 basic... well, we're going to be attacking time to cast basic attack stage 3. So you're going to do 3 basic attacks, getting to basic attack 4. And the scale cooldown is 10 seconds. So you could probably do, like, a full forte basic attacks. Because I'm pretty sure she attacks pretty fast according to the videos that I've seen on the official live stream, right? She was attacking pretty fast. So I'd say it's pretty good, to be honest. And then once you get the heavy attack, that's another one. So it's 1 air erosion here, 2 air erosion, 3 air erosion, and then however many you can get here, right? So you get automatic 3. If your intro skill, it's actually pretty insane. You can get 1 here, and then 1 from the basic attack 4, and then 1 here, and then 1 here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then on. That's if you're doing the resonance liberation, if you have enough energy regen, if you have enough of that stuff. The good thing about the ultimate is energy cost is actually pretty low. It's only 125, which is matching like Yinlin's or Changli's or Carlotta's. Most of the DPS have that same number. So we're not looking at Brant numbers or Shorekeeper numbers of 175, which is pretty good. Let's be honest, it's pretty good, right? And then her stat bonuses are crit damage and attack. It's 10% attack and 16% crit damage in total, right? So it's a pretty good kit overall. Her E1 or like R1, I guess, Resonance Chain R1 is granting immunity, which is cool and all. The E skill, cool. And the basic attack increases her own attack. Meh, it's okay. I don't see the point in it. I think this is really important. With her liberation, she gets 40% air damage bonus, and you can add that to the solo concert, which is 24%, right? So you can do 64% bonus damage. Sorry, right here, bonus aero damage. That's pretty good. That's a pretty substantial amount, if you ask me, right? Casting basic attack grants 1 segment, so this allows you to get the heavy attack and get the Forte circuit up much quicker, and obviously I'm assuming you can get her ult up much faster as well, which is really nice. This is pretty insane. This is more of her own personal damage, but you know, if you're going for C3, you might as well go for C6, right? So Ciaconna ignores 45% of defense with both her heavy attack and her liberation. Pretty insane, you know, especially if you're just trying to DPS it, right? Gaining 40% liberation on top of the 45% defense reduction. It's pretty good, to be honest. And then she acts as a sustain by reducing the amount of damage taken by 30%, which is actually pretty good in my opinion. You know, it's not too bad, right? Ciaconna in solo concert, right? Or the ensemble stuff. So basically all the time, her arrow damage will be 220% of Ciaconna's attack, right? So of her own attack. And it's all considered resistance liberation damage. So basically, this makes her into an absolutely busted DPS. Like, you can DPS with her, I think. Like, in my eyes, I think it can be. Because not only do you get a 45% defense reduction, you get 40% liberation damage, you get the extra arrow damage here, and you have extra attack. So this C6, I know it looks not so great, like, from the start. I think it actually is pretty good, from what I can see. I think the numbers you could do with her are actually way stronger than most people would like to admit. And I think she's great at any investment. She will be pretty good, I think, especially for, you know, I'm assuming Cartathea is going to be arrow damage, and I'm assuming she'll be playable. If she is playable, there it is, you know, because, like, you know, the hologram, everything about her screams arrow damage, right? We'll see about it. I do worry about the Ciaconna being absolutely necessary, just like Phoebe is, or not absolutely necessary, but highly necessary, highly wanted by Cartathea, which is just like Phoebe or Rover. You want both of those characters heavily for Zani. We'll see, though. I think there's a lot of questions that we can ask about it, but hopefully it works well, hopefully it goes well, and honestly, I think it should be fine, as long as they balance it out properly, and they don't try to mess up the statistic capability of Ciaconna and Cartathea. I hope they don't mess up. There are a lot of problems, which I'll talk about in my next video, about Ciaconna, Rover, and the precedent that the Zani-Phoebe situation presents with Wuthering Waves. We can look at the build now. I have pre-built her, quote-unquote built her. Not really, I just have her build on Aero. Where is it? There it is. Aero set, right? So I have an attack weapon because I don't want to have too much energy regen, because I know that the weapon is probably not energy regen. I'm going to assume it's like some type of damage capability. Maybe it's attack percent. That could be it too, to be honest. I don't remember if they've already released it. It could be crit damage. I don't remember. I think I've seen like stuff, but I don't remember whether it's leaks or not, and I'd rather not talk about leaks here. So we're going to skip that, right? Crit damage. I think you could put attack percent on this, but I put crit damage because why not? It looks okay. It looks like it works. It's got energy regen, and that's what really matters, right? What you really want is to try and get as close to 150 energy regen as possible, maybe 160, right? I do think 160 is better for full uptime. Obviously, I don't have that yet, and that's fine. I think 150 should be fine too. I haven't really done enough for her yet, right? I think like there's 11 here, there's energy regen here, 10%, right? So I have like gotten pretty lucky with energy regen. Okay, I've gotten very lucky with energy regen, except for this piece. So, you know, it takes a lot of time, and obviously, like, I farmed the heck out of this set, right? Guess of like I have 312 of just one set, right? So it's not like easy to farm, and it'll take time, but I'm sure you guys can do it. Yep. Good luck with that, to be honest. It'll be fine though. I put 4-piece attack and then 1 crit damage. You can also put attack percent if you have energy regen. You can have an energy regen piece right here, and then you can have like a lot of attack. Obviously, this is like not the right basic attack. You can put the base attack of 587 here, and with the main stats range to 3000. Obviously, I want the crit damage because why not? It would be cool, and higher damage output is always nice. Let's go find my crit damage piece. There it is, and it's got crit rate, which is what you really want. Almost 50 crit rate. You know, I don't have all my echoes at double crit, so you know, hopefully I can get more. We'll see. But that's kind of how I'd say it. We can also actually look at the weapons as well. Where's Carlota? Don't look at the build, it's horrible, I know. Right, there's not many weapons, right? There's this one, but like, nobody cares about it, because let's be honest, this doesn't really do anything for her. This one is okay, but it's an attack percent, which is fine, but like, damage would be nice, crit damage, crit rate, you know, or like, energy regen, or you know, attack percent's fine though, but obviously, the base attack is much lower, you know, but the resonance skill granting 6 resonance energy is nice, because you can proc the outro skill faster, and of course, like, you can synthesize it a bunch of times, right, and get like, probably like 20% attack. I don't really know how much it is, but probably around that. So it's not a bad weapon, it's not a bad weapon at all. This is kind of silly, because you're never really going to dash or dodge, and you don't need to increase attack for her as much. This one's okay. Resonance skill damage bonus, woo, not really that useful. This is probably the best one. Like, Cadenza's really good for her. Any support, right? You're restoring Concerto energy, and I bet you can restore it much faster if you just syntonize it 5 times, you know. So let's say, like, I syntonize it right here. Right, I can syntonize all of it fully to level 5, and we can look at it, like, it's already 12, 14, so the time doesn't end, but there's a 14, and then I'm guessing it's going to be, like, 17, 18? 18 in the end? Oh, 16 in the end. Alright, well, it's okay, though. 16 energy is always fun, right? It's always better than, because you get energy regen as well, so it's way better. I don't think any of the blue pistols will be good, to be honest. I really think it's all about the resonance energy, so I'd say, the Cadenza weapon is probably the best. You get energy regen, so you don't even have to care about anything except crit and attack, so it's really nice. It's really easy to build her. Of course, just have to. Where's Aero? You just have to wait till she comes out. Let's be honest. And see, I think for Forte priorities, we're gonna look at Rover, even though that's not the right one. You know, I think it's level 10, level 10, level 10. You can help normal attack a bit, but it really doesn't matter. Intro skill, you can help. Really doesn't matter, right? I think the three main ones in the middle are really the most important Forte circuits you need to do and build, right? I think like there's just not great multipliers here or here to really matter, and the really big multipliers are here, here, and here, and even here. To be honest, you can probably just skip the skill as well. Alright, if you're not looking to do damage with a skill, this is only 80% attack, which is just not that much. And if you want to like save materials and you're not fresh on materials, then skip it. No need. No need at all. But you really want higher attack on it. But that's really it for Ciaconna. There's not really much I can say other than that. I kind of tried to show the playstyle, and they have playstyle here, but I just don't know if it's that great. Like, it's not very, I'm gonna be honest, I just don't see it as being that useful. But yeah, it'll be fine. I think everyone knows how to counter. I do think this is very pretty, there's music notes and stuff, so I'm very, very happy, and I can't wait to see her in game. And I wish all of you good luck on your Ciaconna post, Zani post, any post on the event banners, the banners that are occurring because of the 5-character anniversary reruns, you know, all that. Wish you all the luck. I'm signing out. I'll see you guys later on the next video. Bye.